right. Before we get too far into this, doing a quick audio check. So if the stream can confirm we are getting good audio from myself, and then can I get a test from Adam?
Test.
All right, we're gonna hold for about 15 seconds because I don't want to wait too long. But welcome everybody to the 2024 Lone Wolf Matchup Cast. Just want to make sure that we got. So I want to make sure we got good audio from myself and from the Discord, and that both are audible.
I'm hearing good from the live stream.
Perfect. Okay. Alrighty. So for everyone who hasn't seen one of these before, we do these every year for Lone Wolf. We are going to go over the various lists where players elected to effectively vote on which list they thought was going to do best in their various matchups. So our cast of commentators will then go over and determine what the player who did not get voted to win the match is going to need to do in order to overcome their more esteemed opponent. With me today, I have Adam Ballard. I have... why am I brain farting so hard? The meds just decided to kick in right now. Billy Hittinger. I have Pat Zora Allen. And hiding in the background, who may be joining us later on, I have Travis Tim. So we're going to pretend Travis waved. And without further ado, we're going to get right on into the matchups. So first things first, we have Jesse Garrett versus Justin. I want to say, I don't know why I want to say Ray off the top of my head.
It's May.
May,
You're
thank
close.
you. There we go. Awesome. I bumped my audio thing. It was like that jump significantly. Okay. So yes, Justin May. So if I could get Adam to read off Jesse's list, and then Justin can be read off by Billy.
Sure. All right, Jesse's bringing back the forces of the Abyss. He's got 2 regiments of ghouls, 2 hordes of Molochs, both with the spoiler champions, 1 with J-boots, 4 tortured soul regiments, 2 Croniuses, the Seductress with the Gnome Glass Shield, Knowledgeable, and Host Shadow Beast 3. 1 Warlock with Hex, Zezuzu, and the Well of Souls, bringing him out to 14 drops and 23 unit strength.
Nifty. Heading over to Justin here.
All right, Justin's playing Night Stalkers. Got 2 legions of bloodworms, one of them with the hammer measuring force. Horde of butchers with the mace of crushing. 2 regiments of shadow hounds, one with the helmet drunken ram and one with the brew of strength. 1 mind screech with the planar apparition upgrade. 2 terrors, Izra, the wailing shadow, and then Void Lurker with the blade of slasho.
Nifty.
With 10 units and 26 unit strength.
Sweet. All right. Well, our audience voted, and the outcomes were very much in favor of Jesse Garrett with a 72% chance to 27%. Adam, what does it take for Justin to beat your clubmate in logs? What does he got to do to overcome Double Cronius Well of Souls?
Well, I wouldn't know because I've never beaten Jesse myself. But a better man might say that he needs to take more than 10 units potentially. That is an extremely low number. I think it's probably the lowest number of drops in the entire event. So, but he does have a lot of difficult units to take off in the 2 legions of bloodworms and both those terrors. It's pretty tough. But Jesse has just a lot of units to just feed to those guys, and I don't know. I mean, it's Jesse's playing a very tough army too, where if you don't kill something, he's just gonna recoup all the wounds that you dealt to it. And Justin has some decent hammers in the list, but without the what's called the horror character to buff up those bloodworm legions with vicious and bane chant and whatnot. I just don't think the bloodworms reliably one shot too many of Jesse's big units, and I don't think that the planers really going to heal out heal the amount that the abyssals can out heal. So it's going to be a tough one, but I think Justin needs his butchers, his terrors, and his bloodworms all to just hold up in combat and eventually win out on some of those combats and uh, just create a wall, build it with 10 units, and then get the flanks with Shadowhounds and Void Lurker. But Jesse's got 4 more units, so that's going to be tough.
Alrighty. Well, best of luck to Justin. Moving right along, we have table 2. We've got Dan Kamek versus Robert Zimmerman. Also, fair warning, just as it is pretty tradition on these casts for me to mispronounce someone's name at some point. So if that happens, just know that I do love you, and it's totally my fault. Not that your parents gave you a weird name. So let's get Pat Zora Allen to read off Dan here, and let's get Adam to read. We're gonna have to double up a little bit here. Robert.
So Dan's bringing a horde of skeleton spearmen, 3 regiments of mummies. This is for Empire of Dust. A horde of enslaved guardians wear Sir Jesse's boots. A troop of Rebcav with the skirmisher boots for some nimble shenanigans. The mandatory soul snare, the bone giant. The pharaoh will post shadow beast, knowledgeable for that extra attack, and eternal guard for the elite mummy aura. A standard bearer with Tome of Darkness, a Curse High Priest with Wind Blast and Weakness, and the Edge Periscope. A Curse High Priest on a Chariot with Surge and Weakness, and then the Idol of Shobik. Comes up to 13 drops, 21 unit strength, and most notably does not have a monolith. Took the other important living legends. Skipped out on the monolith, but he has, I think, enough Surge casters to make it work anyway.
It's the first time I've seen the Curse Priest on Chariot. All right. Adam, take us out with Robert.
Yeah, we got Forces of Nature. He has 2 regiments of Hunters of the Wild, 2 hordes of Fire Elementals, 2 regiments of Forest Shamblers, a horde of Scorchwings, 2 Greater Air Elementals, Pegasus, the Gladewalker Druid with Ring of Harmony, Heal, and Surge, a Unicorn with Wings, Blade of Slashing, and he took both Heal and Lightning Bolt on it. And then the Tree Herder, which is the Wilt Father, which I believe this is getting updated because he took the Trickster's Wand on him, and I don't think that is allowed with the Wilt Father upgrade.
Correct. Though I have been told that this was fixed. He has an updated list since then. So
those
we're rolling with it live.
Might be somewhere else. So
yep.
Should be crowned Wizard King and a Gladewalker Druid. Just saying.
All right. So our survey results for this table have us with Dan with a pretty commanding lead at 82.5% to Robert's 17.5%. Pat, what does Robert need to do to overcome this EOD grind fest?
I think one of the biggest things is to not get engaged with the mummies if you until you take out some of the other support pieces, and those that unicorn, the greater air elementals, and Pegasus are gonna be pretty key for that. They got the speed to get around to either flanks or taking out some of these casters and soul spares, for example. But those mummies, if Dan plays them well, you're not going to get multi charges on them, and any one of Robert's units is going to take 2 to 3 turns to go through a single mummy regiment. So I think he's got to kind of like work his way outside in and isolate the mummies before he actually engages them.
Gotcha. Sound advice. Do like that he has. Well, it's just a solid course of nature. All right. I also realized in hindsight, upon looking at this, the reason I thought it was Dustin was because the list's name is Dustin's Disciple. But not to make it any less confusing, we will move on to the man himself. So with table 3, Dustin Howard versus Scott. Scott David. If I can get Billy to read off Dustin's list, and then Pat to read off Scott's.
All right, I got Dustin's Dirty Ogres here. Looks like he's got 3 regiments of warriors, 3 hordes of siege breakers. One of them's got Jesse's boots. The other one's got Staying Stone. The Boomer Chariot, as it seems, it's always there with the Sacred Horn. Got the Giant with the Cleaver, giving him Slayer. Got 2 Sergeants, both of them with the Heavy Crossbow upgrade. 3 Warlocks, one with the Conjure Staff, one with the Boomstick. And then Namagrok. 14 units and 24 unit strength.
Nifty. I'm pretty sure everything scores.
That's the only way.
Yep. So it is.
Yeah, so Scott Hakala is bringing 2 regiments of the Corsair Fleet Warden. Did pay for the extra nerve and did pay for Blood Hex on both of those. Void Touch mutants with Fury item, 2 Phantom troops, 2 Impaler hordes, 2 Void skips with Blood Hex and Deck Harpoons, Mind Screech, the planar version, a Void Captain with the Reaver upgrade and Gnome Glass Shield, 2 Summoner Crones, both with Hex and Weakness, 1 Conjure Staff and 1 with Edge Periscope, Bleak Heart, and then a Navigator and Void Skip with Sacred Horn. Comes up to 15 drops and 23 unit strength.
Nifty. All right. I don't think the survey results are going to be shocking here. We have Dustin with a pretty solid 90% to 10% for Scott. Billy, what gods does Scott need to sacrifice a goat to beat Dustin Howard?
A lot. I feel like the list is a little bit everywhere, but I mean, trying to keep your line and picking out what charges you can get. Dustin's gonna make sure you don't get double charges off and everything, and I feel like he's gonna be fighting an uphill battle most of the game, but otherwise, I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be a rough matchup overall.
Yeah, it is Dustin. I still need to pull up stuff for the next thing, so give us some more commentary.
I mean, being able to hopefully pick off the stuff around the siege breakers. I mean, being able to get rid of the Boomer Chariot with the magic and get rid of that stealthy would help out quite a bit. But otherwise, I feel like the siege breakers are gonna have their way with whatever they touch.
Yeah, that does
I don't know
sound
if weakness saves you.
No.
right.
One thing he does have is he does have a decent amount of long range piercing one shooting that can hopefully take out some of these warlocks and sergeants that are all defense 4. Obviously, shooting siege breakers is kind of pointless, but there are a good number of defense 4 targets to try to just eliminate, and he can try to jump on scenario.
I think the issue is, though, all those defense 4 units shoot back.
Yeah, for sure, but they can't all be in the stealthy bubble, unless there's nothing else in the stealthy bubble besides them. Knowing Dustin, he might try to get them all in, though. But
I mean, 9-inch stealthy bubble's a big stealthy bubble.
Off of that big base.
Uh-huh. I believe in Dustin. It's only 14 units. I think he can get all of them in the stealthy bubble if he really wanted.
He'll find a way.
Yeah.
well, if he does get them all in the stealthy bubble, he's giving up a flank somewhere. So use your speed to get around the edges. Then.
Alrighty. Well, best of luck to Scott. Hopefully, you don't have to sacrifice too many goats. But shifting us on, we have Billy. I'm going to have you read your list.
Figured that was coming.
Yep. And David, I will have read off by Adam, if I'm keeping track.
Yep.
Alrighty. Billy, introduce us to Twilight Kin numero dos.
All right. This is my version of Twilight Kin. I got 2 regiments of Fleet Wardens, both of the upgrades for the Nerve and the Defense 5 for one-time use. So I got Staying Stone on one of them. Got 2 regiments of Mutants, one with Fury and one with Headstrong. 2 hordes of Impalers. 3 Mind Screeches, one of them with the Planar Operation upgrade, the other 2 regular ones. A Navigator with the Sacred Horn. Void Captain with the Attacks upgrade and the Blade of the Beast Slayer. Summoning Crone with Conjure Staff and Weakness. Lothiel and a Soulbane on Nightmare with the Trickster's Wand. 14 units and 22 unit strength.
It's nice. I do love the regiments of Fleet Wardens. Playing against him is
Pretty good.
the thing that is almost exactly like Fleet Wardens. So
Yeah. Turns out just a little bit more cheesy. So David Murphy's playing Ratkin, and he's got 3 hordes of shock troops, all kitted out with the plague pots and heavy halberds. He's got 3 claw shots, 4 vermintide regiments, tunnel runners with brew of sharpness, 3 weapons teams, Tangle, Witch, and Mother Kryza. Fully kitted out Mother Kryza, in fact. Every spell she can have, she does have.
hot damn.
So 17 drops, 24 unit strength.
Twitch is the one where the Bane Chant allows you to reroll. Yeah.
Yep. After you do all your hits and your wounds, you can, but before you roll nerve, you can choose to just re-roll that unit's entire attack values again.
Yeah. Nifty. Alrighty. Well, our survey results are even more hemorrhaged here than Dustin's. Billy, you are don't lose. That's what the community says. The community says 90%, 95%. So, with that said, Adam, what does David need to do with his Ratkin to overcome the Twilight Kin menace?
He probably needs to call Sean Troy and get some pointers from the Rat King himself. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think David's list is necessarily bad by any means. I am a little bit surprised to see that big of a percentile. I mean, shock troops are good, claw shots are good, vermintide are great shaft, tunnel runners with sharpness, weapons like this rat army is very solid. So, um, I mean, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be betting 95% on Billy, but I would give him an edge. So, yeah, I mean, the shooting is going to struggle into the stealthy spell ward or from the navigator, but there might be stuff outside of that stealthy spell ward aura. I do think that David's going to struggle against the Impalers, even with shock troops backed up by Bane Chant. It's just a tough brick to crack open, and with the support behind it, it's tough. And Billy's army's cut a lot of shooting, so uh, yeah, I think this Mother Crisis a little bit too many points, but Veil of Shadows isn't really going to do anything. Um, I don't know. I think it's definitely closer than the odds say, but I think that it's really going to come down to who kind of gets that initial jump first. Also, I guess the mutants going into these three hordes of shock troops, since most of their damage comes from the thunderous charge they have, they're not going to be doing as much as you might expect to the shock troops, and they'll definitely die quick on return. So, um, yeah, I think David definitely has tools to use again to counter some of the things in Billy's army. He just needs to get the right matchups in the game. So.
Cool. Well, best of luck to David, and uh, uphill struggle against Twilightkin, I'm sure. Alrighty. Shifting us over to table 5, we've got John Hogue versus Daniel Johnson. Pat, if you'd like to lead us off with John. There we go. It's like I had that in the right order. And this is weird with 3 people. Daniel, I will have Adam take.
John's bringing his Carnival of Horrors. He's calling it Big and Lit this time because he added lights to it. He's taking 3 regiments of Scarecrows, a legion of Bloodworms with Hammer Measured Force with a guaranteed 10 wounds a turn, a troop of Phantoms, 3 hordes of Butchers, 1, 2, 3, 4 Soul Flare regiments, a horde of Fiends with Brew of Sharpness, and a Butcher Flesh Reaper. 14 units and an astounding 33 unit strength.
That is a
God
chunk.
damn.
Yeah.
I think that's the most unit strength in the game or in the tournament.
Certainly the most we've
Definitely
seen.
what we've
Yeah.
read so far. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the tournament, though.
I was going to say, I don't even think goblins reach that heights. So,
Hey, they ain't trying hard enough.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Daniel's got Northern Alliance. He is taking 2 regiments and 1 horde of Ice Naiads, all with spears. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 hordes of Frostclaw riders with the ice bombs on all of them. 4 units of Snow Foxes. An Ice Queen with the Periscope, has Hex, Veil of Shadows, and Wither and Perish, which is not something you see very often, but I think it's appropriate. And then 2 Frostclaw Champions. So 14 drops, 28 unit strength. Pretty lean, not a whole lot of magic items out here. I think it's just a Periscope for magic items, and then it's all unit upgrades from there. So
It's an impressive amount of units for how much flying stuff is in it. Alrighty. Well, this one might be the first one. I have to check it. Well, we'll find out here in just a second. Survey results put this one pretty darn close. So yeah, I think this is actually pretty accurate. We've got a 55 at the slightest of edges. That's probably, if I'm doing my math right, literally 1 or 2 votes tops. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to check. It is 2 votes. There we go. 2 votes over John with his Night Stalkers. Pat, Coach John here. What does he got to do? How do Night Stalkers beat a bunch of flying, grenade lobbing dwarves?
Grenade lobbing is short enough range that he should be in trouble. He shouldn't be able to focus fire without also giving up a charge as long as you play smart with his soul flares. I know they technically outrange him, but those are big ass bases. So it'll be hard to like focus fire without that. And you know, between stealthy and cover and stuff, you can layer stuff so that to protect different things. Big thing John needs to do is not let 2 Frost Claw Riders gang up on any one unit. I think if he keeps that, then almost all his butchers and his bloodworms should be able to all survive 1 charge from a Frost Claw Rider. When you get 2, it starts getting dicey. So as long as he can keep those fat bases from multi-charging, he should be fine. And he has enough stuff that he can counter-charge as well. This is going to be interesting because they both have tons of unit strength. They both have a decent number of drops. They both have a decent number of flyers too. So this will be an interesting match to watch.
Nifty. All right. Well, best of luck to John. I'm sure he can do it. I'm sure, especially with all those soul flares, you got some options. Moving us over to table 6, we've got Jordan Lawrence versus Nathan Arnold. Another one that I suspect will be close on the voting. If I can get Billy to read off JoJo's, Jordan's here, and Pat to read off Nathan's.
Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and start. Looks like he's playing some Twilight Kin. He's got 2 regiments of Void Walkers. One with or they both have the Ensnare and the Blood Hex upgrades. Got a horde of Fleet Wardens with the Blood Hex and the Nerve Bump. Got 2 regiments of Phantoms. 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Butchers. 2 regiments of Soul Flares. Gordrake, the Void Captain with the attacks upgrade and the Gnome Glass Shield. Summoning Crone with the Amulet of Fireheart, got Bane Chant and Weakness. And then Old Reliable Mikael. 15 units and 31 unit strength.
See, we already almost made it to 33. We were
So
pretty
that was
too,
close.
Too close, So
That's a lot. Yep.
Yep. Alrighty, and over to Nathan.
So, we got 2 regiments of Rangers, a horde of Earth Elementals, a troop of Rocks with Healing Brew, a regiment of Rocks, Greater Earth Elemental with a Kragoff and Coal Arm upgrade, a Stone Priest with Stone Shapers, Surge, and Bane Chant for that double cast on Earth Elementals, the Free Dwarf Packmasters with the Munchberries upgrade, Berserker Brocklord on a mount with later Beastslayer, Bannock and Coal Arm, and then he's got the Shield Breakers formation, which gives 3 regiments of the Shield Breakers and a Dwarf Lord. He's given Mastiffs to all the Shield Breakers. Comes out to 14 drops and 22 unit strength.
Nifty. I haven't seen Free Dwarves in a minute. It's probably the only one in the event, but you know what? We'll take it. So moving over to our results here, we have 87% going for Jordan here, with Nathan. Okay, that might explain some of this. Um, Zach in the chat suggested that Nathan is borrowing an army and has no practice, as he didn't want to know until matches were decided. So that might explain some of these, some of this, because I would put them at somewhat even on the playing field at least. So Adam, yes, Adam.
Go for it.
How does Mr. Nathan here beat JoJo Lawrence? I'm never going to let him live that down.
I actually like Nathan's army quite a bit. I think Free Dwarves got a lot better with the Clash of Kings update, and I just haven't really seen many people try them out. But so I like his list quite a bit. It has a lot of sneaky uses. Would definitely love to see some of the Dwarf Lords on Large Beasts to really round it out. I think that's the only thing really missing out of it. But he's going up against the impossible to beat Twilightkin armies now, so he's probably just doomed as it is. Unless you roll good, you're never beating Twilightkin is everything I've heard. So yeah, just roll good, Nathan. That's the real answer of how you win over here.
A tried and true strategy, one that I subscribe to all the time.
If you roll better, you win more.
RC can't nerf that. All right. We have.
They can try.
Table 7. We have Tony Rogers versus Rick Hoy. As I get my thing back up. There we go.
Take Rick's if you don't mind.
You want to take Rick's? Okay. Billy, if you want to take.
That's the one I want to read.
Rick's is just a fun list.
Very
exactly.
Yep.
So Rick is doing the essentially all cav goblin army.
Okay.
A horde of flea bags with the Sir Jesse's boots, 2 troops of mobbies, and then 6 regiments. The mobbies are absolutely amazing, and I feel like not enough people take them. Magwans, so a 7th regiment, but this one's defense 4. Goblin Slasher with the Rampage Beast only aura, so all those mob beasts and all those cavalry will get Rampage D3. A King with the Headstrong Pendant and Grony Snark upgrade, and a short bow, so a little bit of everything. A Flagot with Mount and a Loot, a Wiz with a Mount and Inspiring Talisman, Bane Chant, and Lightning Bolt, and then the Bang Sticks formation, which is 2 regiments of the Fleabags and a King on Fleabag, and he'll have the Sacred Horn and short bow. He gives Elite to Cavalry with Goblin keyword only, so all the Fleabags. Comes out to 17 unit strength and 35. If I've been breaking 35 unit strength and 17 drops.
Hey, we have a new cap.
Yep, I was gonna say that broke it.
Damn.
Yep.
I forgot about the goblins.
And it was goblins.
I forgot about the melee goblins.
All right.
All right. Moving on over to Tony, playing Abyssal Dwarves. Got 2 regiments of Iron Guard, both with the Warden upgrades. Horde of Decimators with Blessing of the Gods, as you do. 2 hordes of Obsidian Golems, one with the Pipes of Terror upgrade. Got a regiment of Half-Breeds with the Helm of the Drunken Ram. 2 heavy mortars. Hi, sweetheart. Got a Hellfane with the Overmaster upgrade. And then the Ironcasters, got 2 of those, one with the Conjuring Staff. Hexcaster with the Periscope, Hex and Weakness. And then the Abyssal Half-Breed Champion with the Scythe the Harvester. 13 units and 21 unit strength.
Definitely outmatched on the unit strength, and probably outmatched on the speed. Just a bit. Moving over to our survey results here, and it looks like potentially Travis Tim jumping in, maybe. Oh. Survey says we have a slight edge to Rick, which I think is definitely pretty fair, with 60 to 40, nice and even on those percentages. I have no idea whose turn it was to coach our
I think it's Billy's turn.
Billy, what does Tony need to do here to overcome this goblin shenaniganry?
Well, the benefit you got is goblins have low nerve in this list, it looks like. So can pick some stuff up with the little bit of shooting you got and that kind of stuff, and hopefully pick up enough stuff to where they can't chew through or get multiple charges off on the goblins or on the golems, and be able to withstand the terror of insane amount of attacks of mob beasts and everything else of just throwing hundreds of dice a turn, it feels like.
Cool. So
Just roll better than the goblins. That's how you win.
Hey,
endure and smash, the dwarven way, the tried and tested way. Let the bang sticks kill the goblins themselves. They'll probably kill more goblins than you will. Alrighty.
So true.
Shifting over here to. Oh, I gotta learn to not do that. Table 8. This one, unfortunately, Jordan dropped. I believe his replacement will almost certainly be Tyler Schultz, if I had to take a guess. I don't remember where the ringer ended up going, so for the record, that is a thing. But we're still going to read it off, and we're still going to talk it through as though it were a mashup, because you know what? That's how this works.
Well, now I know that Tyler Schultz is playing Ratkin. It looks like Zach Clark's playing Ratkin. So,
Ooh.
who do you think's the better rat?
I don't think I've seen Tyler play Ratkin.
He has a really fun list. He's going. He calls it the tank list. He has, I think it's 5 of the chariot monsters. I think it's 3 melee ones and 2 ranged ones in his list, and just a bunch of shit to unlock it. So it's definitely a unique style of rats.
Yeah. Jordan was going to bring 2 hordes of decimators, some Western City of Golems in various sizes. No, it was 2 hordes. Some Slave Orc Gore Riders, those in more reasonable sizes, a rocket launcher, some Hexcasters, an Ironcaster, and the Brewing Rebellion, which is more Slave Orcs and Jag Bloodspike, who will forever be Orcticus in my heart. But needless to say, would have been a pretty fun list to watch, but Jordan has dropped. Zach, on the other hand, we can do some commentary for. So, someone.
I got the rat army.
Gotcha. Read me some rats.
All right, Zach's going the tried and true, apparently, triple shock troop horde, all with pots and halberds. He has 2 hordes of wretches to go along with him, a regiment of Vermintide. He has 2 regiments of tunnel runners, but didn't take the sharpness, so he put mead on one and haste on the other. Has Tangled. He has a war chief with the loot. He has a Brute Enforcer with Blade of Slashing, Brood Mother with the Drain Life, and Scuds for 13 drops and 29 unit strength.
Spicy. I always do love a Scud. The survey results at the time were a pretty impressive 60 to 40, with 40 to Zach when it was Jordan. Let's assume that Tyler comes in at a similar ratio. What would Zach need to do to beat up Tyler's rats?
He's here.
Wait, that's Travis Tim.
Now he's muted.
This is a good time for him to be
Oh
muted
my
so that we
God.
can figure it out.
All right. Well, he needs an act of God, which is just what happened here. Travis Tim came to the table and is going to teach him how to beat Tyler Schultz rats. Travis, how does Zach win?
I have no idea. I didn't know Tyler was even going.
He wasn't until very recently. Like, very recently.
They're on the table. That
We are
matters.
on table 8, and I am missing a list, I feel. So while we're discussing this is we're going to take a brief period to chat some more about this Ratkin list while I go digging for something real quick.
In Scuds we trust.
In
Scuds we
Scuds you
trust.
So I think Scuds needs the tech keyword so that way he can get the new Elite Aura, I believe it is, from the Flagger. And then I think people take Scuds more.
So what's in Tyler's list?
So Tyler is taking
Rats.
Rats, yeah. I think
We
it's a
just
bunch
don't
of like
know.
warriors. I think it's a bunch of warriors, a couple of hordes, a few regiments, and then he has 3 of the melee impalers, and then I think a couple of the shooting impalers monsters, and then I'm pretty sure he took just a couple of basic characters. I don't know exactly which ones they were, but nothing. I don't think any of the living legends were in his list. So, but yeah, the main focus of his army is literally 5 tanks, which it sounds like he's modeled up to look really awesome to go with his rats. So he's just gonna drive around on
One
tanks.
style rats.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Tyler's there to have fun. He,
I mean, isn't that what everyone?
I would hope that everyone's there to have fun, but you know.
sure, but
Except for
Zach's
me,
there.
I'm not there to have fun.
Zach's there to out cheese the cheesers.
I know you're not there, Travis. I'm sorry. All right. We're almost back up onto schedule. I figured out what was going on. It's because this list was late. Shame on this person. No, they're new, so they had a good excuse. But in any case, we have coming up here momentarily we were going to have a buy, but I'm going to fill in this time slot just to give us this thing because we're doing good on schedule. Coming up next, we have Wesley, who I believe this will be his first GT, possibly some of his first games ever, versus Richard Comstock. So, just easing your way into the Kings of War universe by playing Richard. So,
I mean, it could have been worse, I
Could have
guess,
been.
is all I have to say.
Could have been worse.
But it could have been better, too.
All right. Travis, if you want to take our brand new Twilightkin player, and Pat, if you want to take Richard.
All right. That you want first?
Yeah, sure. So we have 4 regiments of mummies, all with casketed dam to scout ahead. One with Towering Presence for unit strength 4, one with Pipes of Terror for brutal. We have a troop of skeleton warriors, also casted band for scouting. We have enslaved guardians with Sir Jesse's boot. We have 2 regiments of scavengers, the soul snare, a reanimated behemoth, which you'll see very much. But going back to the usual, we have a monolith, and then we have the Pharaoh Eternal Guard, knowledgeable surge, host shadow beast, and then the army standard bearer and idol shielding. Comes up to 14 units and 23 unit strength.
All right. Wesley's running Twilight King. He's got 2 regiments of Corsair Wardens, both Blood Hex and War. A regiment of mutants with Chalice of Wrath, 2 troops of phantoms, 2 hordes of impalers, 2 regiments of soul flares with their wind blasts. He's got a Mind Screech as the planer, Navigator with Icy Breath, Summoner Crone with Periscope, weakness 4, and another one with weakness 4, Lyle, Bleakheart, and Mikael for 15 units and 23 unit strength.
Yep.
Well, even though he's a newer player, he's got a solid list.
Yeah, I think that's solid for sure. Giving us our rankings from the players. Let's see how solid they view it. They give a 90% chance to Mr. Richard at 10%, and I feel that's probably about right. So, Pat, what should Wesley learn from this game?
Wesley should learn how to limit multi-chargers and make your own multi-chargers. You should learn how to play for the scenario where, sometimes you don't always have to engage. You can just park an objective and play the scenario and then force the enemy to engage. While Richard has Scout, he is slower overall besides that. So you might be able to get a position and make it so that if he does come in, he's going to punish him for it. And he also will definitely need to learn how Surge works. And that's a very rough army to start with, a pretty Surge-heavy army with the Vampire of Dust. I feel like that's something that a lot of new players and even a lot of veteran players will struggle with this many angles that a Surge player can attack from.
Jovic will not be your friend.
No,
Just ignore him. Just ignore him. Don't even try it.
Yeah. That's I have the high ground. It's just Shovik existing. Yep. Well,
You don't have any giants, let them go.
that said, Richard is a gentleman and a scholar, and I think that is an excellent person to break you into GTs here in Texas. And just in general.
Appropriate choice of words.
Yeah. Alrighty. Table 10, we have, and I hope I am pronouncing this right, Aaron Hendershot versus Travis Cook with Goblins and Abyssal Dwarves. We are Adam and Billy. Hey, we're up to 4 people. This makes everything run smoother now. Adam and Billy.
I'll make Adam read Goblins.
Sure.
Beautiful. I love it.
All right. Aaron Hendershot. It sounds like it might be a fake name and it might be somebody else that we know, but I don't know. I don't know anybody that would sink so low to play goblins, though, besides one other person. So we got 2 hordes of rabble, a horde of trolls with the debt packs that are free, so everybody should be taking them. That also has Helm of the Drunken Ram. 2 regiments of mincers, triple wingets with bombs away, double slashers with the trumpets, 2 kings, one with the Grony upgrade, the other with the pendant upgrade. The formation with the 2 regiments and the Gorp for 15 drops and 26 unit strength.
That feels low.
For goblins, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say for goblins.
All right, moving on to Travis Cook's Abyssal Dwarves. Got a horde of Black Souls with the Fury Bulwark upgrade and Brewer Strength. 2 regiments of Immortal Guard. The 2 hordes of Decimators, one with the Blessing of the Gods and one with Hammer of the Measure Force. 2 Gargoyle troops, 2 Greater Obsidian Golems, an Ironcaster with the Conjure Staff, Fireball, and Bane Chant, and then a second Ironcaster with just Fireball, and then the Overmaster on the Ancient Winged Half-Breed, being 12 units and 26 unit strength.
It's more unit strength than the goblins. I will look at
3
the
less
surveys.
units.
Yeah, here just in a second, but I just want to say that, man, that those Ironcasters, at first I was like, holy god, but now I'm like, because the spells got stripped, they're actually not too expensive.
Right.
I don't know if I'd take them just to fireball things, but,
Well, they also gained Inspiring, I believe it was, too. So
I feel like they've
there's
had
not
that.
many other cheaper Inspiring options in the Abyssal Dwarves that also do something. So I think that's kind of the reason I've seen people taking more Ironcasters.
I think they've had inspiring since the global inspiring change. But in any case,
Might be.
the survey results says we've got a edge to Mr. Travis here, beating out this low unit strength goblin list. And so, say hi to YouTube, Dad. But I think we're at Billy, and if I'm wrong, then Adam will correct me. What does Aaron here need to do with these goblins in order to overcome the Abyssal Dwarf Menace?
Well, you did right with bringing the det pats, like Adam said. I mean,
Yep.
Otherwise, roll gooder. Hold on, sweetheart. Okay. So, other than that, I mean, it is a low drop goblin army, but everything can do something. The off some bang sticks that can either visibly do terrible or wipe off a unit when you're not expecting it, as what I've always faced against. They roll insane. Otherwise, I mean, just the there isn't much shooting, which is pretty nice for the Abyssal Dwarves, and the Abyssal Dwarves have a lot of nerve and defense 5. So there's a solid chance that I think Travis Cook can handle this.
Sounds like a plan. All right, shifting over to table 11 here, we have Gregory versus someone who I think is not Jeff Shilkin. Could be wrong on that.
I thought I saw Jeff was coming. I'll read his list.
Okay. If we want to have Travis read Gregory's list here, then.
All right. Gregory's got Empire Dust. He's got 2 units of Skeleton Spearmen. One's a regiment with the Orb of Towering Presence, and one's a Horde. 2 regiments of Mummies, one with Meat of Madness, one with Mace of Crushing. A Enslaved Guardian Archer Horde with Piercing Arrow. 2 Enslaved Guardian Horde, one with Blessing of the Gods, one with Chant of Hate. 2 Scavenger Regiments, the Soul Snare. Monolith, Evacray, and Idol for 13 drops and 27 unit strength.
Also more units for the goblins. I will say, and maybe this was just a mistake, but Orb does nothing here because it was already 4. So sad day, but maybe he's worried with what he's got, what he has available, or maybe he'll get a freebie and swap out his endpoint item. In any case, what's Jeff bringing, Adam?
Well, no, that's an orb on a regiment.
Yeah.
It's the horde's right below
Oh,
it.
I'm dumb and
Horde's-
can't read.
yeah.
Ignore me. So yeah, there we go. Now it's better. Gregory, you're still smart. You're so smart.
Well, Jeff Shokin, I recently played his ogres at Adepticon. He's got 3 regiments and a horde of warriors, 3 hordes of siege breakers, the boomer chariots with sacred horn and stealthy upgrade, 3 sergeants with crossbows, 3 warlocks with lightning bolts, and 15 drops, 26 unit strength. Yeah, I mean, Jeff's a good player, so it's gonna be a tough army.
And it's not quite the 9x9, but it does have a certain element of just nice even numbers of things. And like I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 total unit types in the list, so very clean.
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
think it's better than the 9x9.
Yeah. Let's see what the survey says. Survey says that, oh, who's this Tom Annis guy? I could have sworn this was Jeff Shilkin.
I think that's just Jeff Shokin's lawyer.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yeah,
well,
that sounds about right.
Well, Travis, what does Greg here need to do to beat up on Jeff's legal representative?
Honestly, I'm not sure. This is pretty tough for the 3 Siegebreaker hordes and a horde of regular ogres with some regiments in front. Like, it's gonna be tough. But we up games or Jeff, legal representative, whoever. So I suck against mummies, so use them. Those always beat me. You can't seem to kill mummy regiments, so maybe those will help. Shoot really good with your Slave Guardian archers. Rolling 6s is a good thing.
Get Chobik in the flank.
Yeah,
That always works for me.
I was gonna say, that always works. I honestly don't know. This is gonna be really hard for the EOD to get through. Like,
On the plus side, the shooting shouldn't be terribly overwhelming. You have
Right.
a good amount of heal and recovery with the EOD, so that's nice.
yeah, through is
Alrighty. Well, moving over to table 12, we've got Jose Vega with his Undead versus Chris Davis with his Abyssal Dwarves. Pat, if you'd like to take, I'll let you have your pick. Which one do you want to read?
I'm going to take Chris's.
Cool. We'll start with Chris. And Adam, you can get Jose.
Right, so Chris is bringing 4 regiments of Immortal Guard, all with the Infernal Warders upgrade, which gives him crushing strength. A horde of Grotesque with sharpness. 2 regiments of Masters with throwing themselves. The Hellbane with the Overmaster upgrade, which gives the extra wild charge to infantry. It makes it inspiring. The Iron Caster with Shadow of the Saints, a Fireball and Heal, so that makes it heal 5. A Hex Caster with Edge Periscope and Hex and Weakness, and then the Overmaster on Ancient Wing Half-Breed with Life Leech. And then also a second page here, a Supreme Iron Caster on Great Wing Half-Breed. Has the Half-Breed Affinity upgrade, it has Blessing of the Gods, it has Fireball and Heal. It comes up to 12 units and 23 unit strength.
50.
And Jose is undead. He has 2 regiments of zombies, 2 troops of wraiths, 2 hordes of werewolves with Helm of the Drunken Ram and J Boots, 2 hordes of whites, 2 death packs, 2 necromancers. One of them's named Morgoth. The other one is taking Veil of Shadows in Surge. A Lycanus and a Vampire Lord on Undead Dragon with the Staying Stone. 14 drops, 23 unit strength.
50. Well, looking over at our survey, we've got a pretty big edge to Jose here, about 80 to 20. Pat, what does Chris need to do to beat up Morgoth the Mandatory? I've heard is his name.
Well, I say this because this is what I say to him every time I beat him with my undead, with a pretty similar list. Chris likes to castle up in a corner and just completely allow people to run up and get in his flanks. He needs to actually think about more than one battle group and at least slow down so that those werewolves don't have complete range to just walk up behind him. Besides that, like, his army is tanky and can do a decent amount of damage. So once Jose actually engages, he can deal with him. But if Chris castles up like he normally does, then werewolves and whites are going to put him in place while werewolves get around behind him, and so he can't let that happen.
Cool. Yep, that sounds like a typical strategy to overcome undead. Don't let them flank you. Shifting over here to table 13, we have what will probably be one of the prettiest tables at the event. We've got Ryan Smith versus Paul Welsh.
I don't know. I've seen pictures, and neither of those guys are pretty.
If I could get Travis to read off Ryan's list, and Pat, if you would like to read off Paul's.
All right. Ryan is rolling with the RFO, some Reforged Orcs. He's got a Morak with Blessing of the Gods, Horde of Legionnaires, Regiment of Reborn Legionnaires, 3 troops of Wolves, 2 hordes of Hellstrikers, one with Line of Elvenkind, one with Madness, Giant Cleaver, a Stormforged Shrine, a Rift Forger with Host Shadow Beast. He's not mounted though, bummer. A God Speaker during Talisman, Drain Life 4, and Thonar for 13 drops and 23 unit strength.
Tight. And Mr. Welsh.
So Paul is taking every type of scarecrow he can. He's got 2 regiments, a horde, and for some reason I thought it was a legion. No, it's 2 regiments and 2 hordes. I saw that points cost, but one of the hordes has Crystal Pendant Retribution, so it'll go boom. The 2 hordes have the Scream Shard for extra life leech 1 turn, He's got 2 troops of Phantoms, 2 hordes of Butchers, 1 with Elite, 1 with +1 melee. He's got 3 regiments of Soul Flares, 1 with Staying Stone, 2 Mind Screeches, the shooting kinds, Portal of Despair, a Horror with the Vicious Infantry only, and Bane Chant, and then Shakira the Wailing Shadow. I don't think anyone ever tries to say it. But it comes up to 16 drops and 28 unit strength.
Nifty. That is a Clash 23 list if ever I saw one. Unchanged completely. Looking over at our survey. This one I suspect is going to be close, and it mostly is. I feel like the Brits came in here and started supporting Paul at some point, because this one definitely flipped a lot when I was watching results come in. What does Mr. Ryan Smith with his Riftworks need to do to beat up Paul Travis?
He's in and beat him up. Those Hell Strikers, tunnels, picking out sides and just rolling through a flank. Since he's got the speed for it. Storm Giant gets in. That thing's gonna be tough to honestly kill with that Cloak of Death going off. Paul doesn't have a planner.
He did not have a planner.
So everything 6 except the portal, right? I forgot what visions he does, but
You're breaking up a little
I
bit
mean,
there,
I
Travis.
mean, everything it doesn't have it on the list that I'm looking for Paul. So, but I mean, Thonar will do some work. You've got the Storm Giant, the Hell Strikers. They're going to do work. He's going to really get the defense 5 relying against Ryan, other than the 2 Butcher Hordes. So if Ryan can break some holes right away when he first charges, then he should be all right. Those Soul Flares are mostly on the back foot. So I'm going with Ryan. I mean, I know the Brits came in strong, but let's be honest, it's Ryan. He's going to pull it out. I like Riftforge too, so there might be some bias there.
I don't know why we're talking about the results of the game. They're all there just to win painting awards, aren't they?
And that is true. Yeah, I mean Ryan failed me by not putting Riftforge on a amount to get it going, but
Yeah, that's probably a modeling choice.
And that's yeah, I would imagine.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, good luck to the both of them. Just remember that your country's honor is in your hands, and so if you lose, you know what you have to do. But yeah, shifting over to table 15. Wait.
You didn't want to do 14?
Did I screw that up? No, table 14. Sorry, I lied. Table 14, we've got Mike Grajeda versus Nick Alonis. If I can get Adam, if you would like to read off Mr. Nick, and Billy, assuming you're back and good to go, if you would like to read Mike.
I don't know about good, but I'm here.
Gotcha.
All right.
Oh, is it Mike first or Nick?
Either or. Let's do Nick. Let's do Nick.
All right. Nick's got Night Stalkers this year. He's going with 4 Hordes of Butchers, a regiment of Shadowhounds with Helm of the Drunken Ram, 2 Shadow Hulks, 2 Terrors, a Horror with Conjurer's Staff and Weakness, and 2 Dread Fiends, 1 with Blade of Slashing. Nice and easy, 12 drops, 24 unit strength.
25 even.
Sorry, 25.
Solid.
Alrighty. And Mr. Mike.
All right. Mike has got dwarves. Looks like he's got 2 regiments of iron guards with the mastiffs, as you do. 2 regiments and 1 horde of shield breakers. Got 3 troops of sharpshooters. 2 mastiff hunting packs with the massive upgrades, and then steel behemoth with Gallic's Fury. A stone priest with Mind Fog 3 and Hex 3. A standard bearer. Favor the Ironheart. The Dwarf Lord on Large Beast, the Trickster's Wand, and then another one with no items, being 16 units and 25 unit strength.
Neck and unit strength. Uh-oh. Hello?
Oh.
Everyone still
Hello?
here?
I'm here.
Okay. Might have dropped connection for half a second there. So wait for everything to catch back up. The survey results show that Nick has the edge here with 67% to 32%. Clearly, no one has heard the news that dwarves are the bee's knees. So, Billy, what does this filthy dwarf player need to do to overcome a much more reasonable and balanced list in these Night Stalkers?
Well, everything's got stealthy, so shooting's out the door. No.
Those don't care.
Right. I mean, everything's defense 5, other than the terrors and the shadowhounds. Try and avoid combat as long as you can, and make sure you can get your double charges off. He doesn't have a lot of stuff, but God, does all of it hit hard, and all of it sticks around for a while.
Yeah, that seems like good advice in a nutshell. But give me some more good advice, because I still got one more thing to update.
I don't know.
I mean, he outdrops him. You can just kind of swarm him a little bit too.
That is true. He does have...
Swarming and dwarves. That doesn't sound.
The swarming dwarves, yeah.
I mean, at least mastiffs don't care about the stealthy, so I mean, you got that going for you.
That is
He
true.
does
Matter
have,
of-
what, six units with those?
Or
If he gets all of those on one unit, that can pick up a unit by itself.
yeah, you got a good chance of that.
All right.
Other than so,
Well, fingers crossed that Dwarven Mastiffs can make their way through the stealthy and eat up Mr. Nick. But shifting over to our table 15 for realsies this time, we have Matt Young versus Greg Pearson. And they are playing Ratkin in the case of Matt Young.
I didn't think he had anything but ogres.
I didn't think he did either.
Yeah, that is Michael Piercy's former Rats. Yeah, bought it recently.
Oh,
Okay.
that explains where those came from. Pat, if you'd like to read off those rats, and Travis, if you want to do Mr. Greg.
He comes with 2 regiments of warriors, a horde of shock troops with the plague pots and chalice of wrath, 3 claw shots, 2 nightmares hordes, a Vermintide regiment, a swarm crier with Bane Chance, 2 brood mothers, both with drain life, Scud the Stud, and the Smoke and Mirrors formation, which comes with 2 shredders and a shooty dungeon. Comes out to 16 drops and 23 unit strength.
And Greg's running dwarves. He's got 3 regiments of Iron Guard. All throwing massive the long beat of the tier, hammers, roof strength, and the other one's called Iron Breakers. He's got a troop of berserkers that are called Troll Slayers. He has a horde of shield breakers throwing mastiffs that are called Miners. 2 troops of sharpshooters. They're just thunderers, apparently, to him, though. A horde of earth elementals with brew sharpness called the Runic Guardians. 2 organ guns. Oh, he ran out on that name for him. He just called them organ guns. The Steel Behemoth with Golik's Fury called the Steam Tank. A Battle Driller, who's probably got the best name of a Doom Seeker. A Stone Priest with Stone Shapers, Conjurer's Staff, Surge 8, and Banechant 2. Berserker Lord, who's a dragon player, so dragons, watch out. And Faber, Ironheart, for 15 units and 21 unit strength.
50. More dwarves. All the time. Like the single Earth Elemental horde for the Stone Sheeper to double cast on. Shifting over to our survey, we have a ever so slight edge to Matt Young with the Rats versus Dwarves. Pat, why is it that Greg Pearson is going to beat Matt Young here, and explain that it's because Matt Young didn't take Phalanx on his shocked report?
Actually, he's going to beat him because, I don't know if you know this, but Mike's armies are cursed.
Yeah.
I spread monkey dust on that years ago and back, and it just follows the army. For real though, the big thing that Greg needs to do is use his shooting to take out mass shooting early on, and then he can be a little bit more particularly the claw shots. If you can take out those claw shots, I think you're going to have some counter battery fire. Not too much worried about, like, there's just a lot of defense 6 stuff, and on the Rackin side, there's a lot of just crushing 1 stuff. So if Greg can take out essentially anything with a 2 modifier of 2, then he should be sitting pretty once they actually engage.
Cool. Love it.
Sorry, Matt, for selling your first army.
All right. Table 16 here. We have Senior Aaron Chapman versus Noah Hendershot. Adam, if you'd like to get Aaron, and Billy, if you'd like to get Noah.
All right, sure. Aaron has Northern Alliance, which he apparently is taking a historical list for. So he's got 4 hordes of ice naiads, very fluffy with the tundra fighters and spears on all of them. One of them has the brew of strength. He's got a horde of Frostclaw riders with the ice bombs and J-boots. He has 2 frost giants, both with cleavers. He has 3 ice queens, all with heal and banechant, and one of them has Veil of Shadows. And then he has a Thane on Frostfang with the Snow Fox and Warbow. So 11 drops, 24 unit strength.
Very tight list.
All right, Noah's playing Salamanders. Got 2 hordes of Ceremonial Guard, 2 hordes of Fire Elementals, a horde of Tyrants with the Liliana's Tear, a horde of Rhino Cav with the Jesse's Boots. Got 4 regiments of Ember Sprites, Mage Priest with the Conjure Staff, Heal and Surge, a Herald with the Loot, Battle Captain, and then Rayquaza finishing off with 14 units and 26 unit strength.
Beefy. In terms of our survey, We have a whopping 90% chance given to Aaron's fluffy historical list by our player base. I want to say we're on Adam. Adam, what does Noah need to do to overcome with these salamanders? What kind of heat does he need to bring?
I mean, I don't actually think it's 90%. I don't know if anybody's going to kill anybody in this game. Those naiads are going to meet the ceremonial guard in the middle, and they're just going to, piddle around fighting each other for like 5 rounds. And yeah, the naiads themselves don't really put out enough damage. I don't know, even with Bane Chant, it's not great odds of killing stuff, and they're a big base, so they're gonna take some double charges and whatnot. I think Noah has the tools to be able to combat it, and the fire elementals and the tyrants, those will definitely put out some hurt. He just needs to get lucky and roll a good melee turn with some 5-ups after the ensnare and pick up some units. And it should be easy once you start collapsing those units like that. No problems.
I think you are underestimating how much damage 30 attacks when you add the Bane Chant and the Vicious on top of that. They should do 9 wounds per turn.
It tickles. It's just a tickle. Yeah, ceremonial guard will last for a little bit against that. But I mean, he's gonna have to chew through some Ember Sprites before he gets to those guys too. So
Yeah, Ember Sprite should be able to tear those naiads up.
I mean, he does have Veil of Shadows, but you just keep pumping those shots in there. Between the Ember Sprites and Rakaz, you'll eventually get through some stuff.
All right, shifting over to table 17, we have Lex versus Joseph. If I could get Pat to read off Joseph here, and let's have Travis read off Senior Lex.
Joseph is taking 2 hordes of skeleton spearmen, one with his crying gen, a horde of enslaved guardians with brew of sharpness, 2 troops of red calf, 3 regiments of scavengers, 2 reanimated behemoths, a bone giant with a slayer or a rampage upgrade, monolith, Sebek Ray, idol of Shovik. So that comes out to 14 drops and 23 unit strength.
Lex is running salamanders. He has 2 hordes of ceremonial guard, one with Chalice of Wrath, one with the Staying Stone. 3 regiments of fire elementals, a horde of tyrants with Effigy of Fire and Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding. 2 greater fire elementals, both gaining rally and Fireball 8. Phoenix. He took the Ancient Phoenix, so he's got the Fire Sparks and Heal 5, which gives him a Cloak of Death. And then Mage Priest with the Periscope, Heal 3, Surge 8, Bane Chant 3, Herald with Tome of Darkness, Surge 5, and then he took the Whispering Scales formation for the 2 regiments of Primes and the Zoel Kifli, the Unseen, for 14 units and 27 unit strength.
Jonky. In terms of our results from the survey, we've got 80% going to Senior Lex with this new Salamander list. The first time I haven't seen him run Angels in a hot minute. and 20 over to Joseph, who I do think his list looks very much improved since last year, from what I remember. Pat, Travis, what does Joseph need to do with this EOD that I know you love so dearly to overcome Senior Lakes?
Well, he doesn't have any mummies in it, so it's tolerable for me. But if he can get those, Revcav and Scavengers to chaff up Lex and points where he can then get his Behemoths, Bone Giant, Shobik in and just start destroying stuff. Joseph's gonna probably have a pretty good day, and those I guess I even missed the Enslaved Guardians with the Brew of Sharpness on them. Jesus. Gets those into something.
Yes, like I said, I think his list is
he's
a lot better.
He's got a lot of things that can chew through, Lex's defense 5, and it's speeds. So, I mean, it's gonna be a blow. But yeah, I mean, if Joseph can get some flanks in there too, like I think that shot, honestly. Because minus the tyrants and the ceremonial guard. I mean, realistically, Lex doesn't have a ton of attacks back at him.
Lex is trying to do what the EOD is trying to do and get surge flanks. So his list is definitely lacking the punch if he doesn't get those flanks.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, best of luck to Senior Joseph. EOD is always fun. Moving over to table 18 here, we've got Jason Burr versus Kyle Allen. I almost want to say Richie, but it's Allen. If I could get Adam to read off the Filthy Elves and Billy to read off Senior Kyle's. We actually get those up and proper. There we go.
Filthy Elf player is playing a Horde of Palace Guard with the 2 hand weapons and Staying Stone. A troop of Forest Guard, 2 regiments of Glade Stalkers, 2 regiments of Silver Breeze, Horde of Dracons with the J Boots, an Archmage Inspiring with Bane Chant and Lightning Bolt, 2 War Chariots, and the formation with the Trickster's Wand on the Lord on Dracon. Brings him out to 13 drops and 23 unit strength.
I had someone the other day say that the formation was bad, and I almost spit out my drink. But
your response should have been, "You're bad."
Depends on the circumstance. Anyway, go for it, Billy.
Kyle is playing Night Stalkers. Looks like he's got a regiment of Scarecrows, a horde of Ravagers, 2 regiments of Shadowhounds, one with Brew of Sharpness, one with Brew of Strength, 2 hordes of Fiends, one with Jesse's Boots, one with Blessing of the Gods, 2 regiments of Needlefangs, 3 Mind Screeches, all of them with the Singing Aberration, Shadowhulk, a Horror with the Conjure Staff and Bane Chant, and then the Wailing Shadow with 14 units and 24 unit strength.
Nifty. The Shadowhounds are definitely new. Looking at our survey of results, we have a edge to the Filthy Elves at 65%, and a slight chunk to Senior Kyle. Adam, I don't know if I gave it to you last time, but I don't care. What does Kyle need to do to beat up on elves?
I mean, he doesn't need to do much. He's playing Night Stalkers. He's got stealthy. The shooting's going to do nothing. You don't have to worry about shooting at all. Elves don't shoot good anyway. So just run straight at him. Let him, charge you, whatnot. He's not going to kill anything. He'll roll snake eyes. And then you just, pick him up. Take all of his toys off the table. Drop him on the floor. And don't let him play for the rest of the tournament.
Seems like a game plan. That is how you beat up filthy elves.
Feed Jason alcohol. He doesn't like it. Wink, wink.
Also a good plan. All right, I am ever so slightly behind, but we are already caught up. So no need for some additional elf nonsense. Moving on to table 19, we have Ethan Allen versus Bruce McDaniel. Travis, if you would like to read Ethan's list here, and then Pat, if you'd like to read Bruce.
Bruce is taking the Order of the Brother Mark. He's got 4 regiments of spearmen, all with veteran commands, so they're 14-16 there. He's got 2 regiments of the Paladin Monster Slayers, both with 2-handers. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 crossbow troops. For a total of 64 shots on those.
Yeah.
Then Oathsworn Guardians, which is essentially just fancy Paladin Monster Slayers. And then he has an Exemplar Paladin with lead from the front, which gives rally to infantry. He has 2 Exemplar Hunters, one with Order of the Lone Wolf, or both with Order of the Lone Wolf, so they are on foot. They have Scout. And then he has the High Chaplain Augustus. Comes out to 19 total units and 29 unit strength.
And Ethan's running halflings. He's got 2 hordes of stalwarts, 3 regiments of grenadiers, regiments of juggers, 2 harvesters, an iron beast with Pride of the Shires, an engineer with Oral Wild Charge 1 bunker only, and the halfling carbine, a sergeant with the standard of Hodenberg, muster captain on a miniature Arles with sure-footed captain, a saucer on a miniature Arles, and then the wild sorcery formation, which gives him a regiment of spear spikes, 2 troops of wild runner cav with black powder weapons for 17 units and 28 unit strength.
First halfling list of the day. Looking at our, I don't even know who. This is going to be a fun matchup. I'm a little sad we probably won't get to see it streamed on the tables, but damn, these are some of the more interesting lists I think I've seen thus far.
I like the crossbows.
Humans versus halflings, who doesn't want to see that?
Yep. Almost a historical
fight. How many drops they both have? I think this is gonna be a great matchup.
I just want to see how he plays the 8 troops of crossbows. He has rally 2 on all of them. So it's not like they're that flimsy. They're actually more durable than they look. But anyway, that's for me to think about tonight. But our survey says that Ethan Allen with his halflings takes this one with no questions asked. Pat, I
have questions.
Pat, what does Bruce's what do all these crossbows have to do? The answer is shoot things.
Shoot.
Yeah, the crossbows the crossbows have. I mean, the thing about 8 of them is you can just deploy all 8 of them in places you don't want the halflings to go, and zone them out and be like, if you're gonna go here, you're gonna get shot. And that also gives them a pretty sizable, like, they both have a lot of drops, but since Bruce has so many that are just crossbowmen, I feel like he's going to have a pretty good, like, positional advantage in deployment. Because he can deploy them, and that doesn't tip his hand on, like, what the rest of his army is doing at all. Meanwhile, the halflings are kind of built a little bit more battle group like, so once you start seeing some things, you'll realize where the other things are going. I think this is a good matchup for Bruce because Bruce's biggest issue is he doesn't have anything above crushing 1 except for those 2 individuals, and that's, the halflings aren't super tanky. So I think that doesn't matter in this list. And all of the halflings like punch are affected, or a good amount of the halflings punch are affected by phalanx. So as long as he can zone out, create zones of no-go with those crossbows, and then use that to direct things to the spearmen. And then those exemplar hunters are, like, they can take out a good number of halfling units by themselves, like the edge grenadiers, maybe even harvesters in the back. I just gotta. I think the biggest thing is don't lose those hunters for no reason, because I think they can do some serious work against the halflings, but foot individuals are also pretty easy to die on their own when they're only supporting a bunch of infantry.
Yeah. Cool. I also didn't realize that all those Paladin Monster Slayers were on foot, so I take back what I said. Bruce loses. Anyway, it's a knight list with no frickin' knights. Where are all the knights?
They're knights on foot.
They sent their horses away.
I was gonna say there isn't a thing above speed 5 in this list. This is the biggest like FU to speed ever.
Exemplar hunters are speed 6.
Okay, I take it back.
Also, let's not forget he's probably got the Lone Ranger who's just gonna support the crossbowmen shooting.
He does have the Lone
stuff
Ranger.
even more.
Yeah, he does have the Lone Ranger.
I just want to hear you yell fire every time you're shooting.
Yes.
At all points of the tournament, I better be hearing fire yelled as loud as you can.
Maybe not shout fire in an enclosed space. maybe preference it with crossbows fire. Just always be a little careful. Anyway,
just have the sound of cannons go off afterwards, and people will know.
That would be pretty great. Shifting right along to table 20, we've got Blake Robertson versus Randy Davis. Adam, if you would like to take Senior Blake, and Billy, if you'd like to take Senior Randy.
I'll continue reading dwarves.
Sorry, you want me to read Blake's? He's not playing Night Stalkers.
This is a rough. It's or no, never mind. Forces of the Abyss, not Abyssal Dwarves. I think in my mind this was Abyssal Dwarves. So.
All right, Blake is playing Forces of the Abyss, and he's going with 3 regiments of Abyssal Guard, 2 Gargoyles, a Moloch Horde with Despoiler Champions, 2 Hordes of Tortured Souls, Abyssal Harbinger with Loot, and Seductress with Gnome Glass Shield, Knowledgeable, and Host Shadow Beast, as you do. He's got a Basusu. He's got 2 Abyssal Warlocks, one with Conjurer Staff, Banechant Hex, the other with Sacred Horn, Banechant Veil. And he's got the Manifestation of Baal. So 14 drops, 23 unit strength, and quite a few units we normally don't see. So that should be interesting.
All right, yet another iteration of dwarves here. We got a regiment of Iron Guard with throwing mastiffs, a horde of shield breakers with brewer sharpness, 3 troops of sharpshooters, the steel behemoth with Gollux fury, Garrick the heavy hand. You got 2 steel juggernauts, a Faber the Ironheart, and then the formation, the bulwarkers, got 2 regiments of those, both of them with throwing mastiffs, ironclad horde with hammer measuring force, and the standard bearer with sacred horn, being 14 drops and 24 unit strength.
That shield breaker horde is scary.
That's scary, and there's a lot of shooting here. A lot of shooting.
That is 25 attacks hitting on 2s with the elite aura near it. And
crush 2. Yes.
Oof. Oof.
Well, looking at the survey results here, the people say that Randy's going to lose. I think this is mostly a discussion on his alcohol tolerance and whether or not he'll show up for his first round match. Billy, coach.
He didn't last year, so.
Yeah, Billy, coach Randy through how it's done. How do you hold your liquor and show up for round 1?
I don't know about round 1. I normally show up round 2, but no. I'll drink with you. I'll just do that. No,
Billy,
it's
educate him on the puke and rally, Billy. Tell him how you did it.
Rumblements. That's what we need. We need Travis and Rumblements is what we need. But no, overall, I think Randy's got a solid chance. Like I said, just a lot of shooting, and then the shield breakers are just absolutely disgusting, and whatever they're gonna touch is gonna die. So everything, there's a lot of defense for 24-inch shooting, and then massive just on top of that. It's just I think Randy's got a really good chance if he makes it there. Game 1.
Cool. Well, Randy, you heard it here first. Show up. I believe in you.
If not, you sound like a good party. I'll drink with you.
He's a hoot. Shifting over to table 21, Chuck Williams. I almost wanted to say Schumer, but no, Chuck Williams versus John Green. Pat, if you would like to read John's list, and Travis, if you'd like to take Chuck's. If my thing stops breaking,
John
there we go.
is bringing Earth Forces of Nature. He's got 4 hordes of Earth Elementals, a regiment of Scorch Wings, 2 Pegasus, 3 Greater Earth Elementals, the Green Lady, Gladewalker Druid with Ring of Harmony, with Shroud of the Saint to bump it up to heal 6, and Surge and Mind Fog. And then he has a Force Warden with Trickster's Wand, Hex, and Surge. Comes out to 13 drops, 23 unit strength. Excuse me. And doesn't say whether he's taking Lone Ranger or Wolf. My guess is Ranger.
Chuck is taking others. He's got a regiment of warriors and 2 hordes of warriors, one with Mace of Crushing, one with Blade of Slashing, 2 hordes of Siege Breakers, a regiment of chariots with black powder guns, Sacred Crocodile Wranglers, a giant with the giant cleaver, 3 ogre warlocks, all lightning bolt and drain life, and 10 units, 20 unit strength.
Nice and compact. Well, the Spanish Inquisition, love it. But the people did not love it. With a solid 77% to John Green's. If I were to call this spam, I'd call this defense 6 spam because that's a lot of defense 6. So what Travis, does Chuck need to do to overcome dirt? Just a wall of dirt.
He's just a bunch of rocks.
Drink water.
I mean, that's 7 defense, 6 units with dash 18 or better nerve. Oh, damn. Chuck's got what? 4 units.
Yeah.
Well, he is the Giant's gonna have to do some work because at least it gets its attacks against the entire army, basically.
The Giants got a 1v7.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is the Giants gonna take out everybody? So Seals Breakers and the O's need to hold everything up. So can do some work. What John? Well, John Pegasus too. Let's see here. Shoot the Pegasus out of the sky. With your lightning bolt. The Wranglers are just entertaining and awesome.
They're going to be hunting Gladewalker.
Yeah,
Green Lady.
and
True.
Yeah, only the 2 for the duelists. So
those regulars can do some work against the Pegasus and the Scorchwings too.
Right. Yeah, that was what I was. They can at least lock a few things down there. And I mean, they're crush 1, so with 7 attacks, they can at least get out there a ways to hold
vicious.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can combine with some charges to help against the defense 6, get a couple wounds maybe here and there, but
they're also going to be really useful against the opposing Lone Ranger or Lone Wolf. So, because they got the duelist going for them too.
It's true, yeah. He's obviously everyone else he plays against, yeah. Those Wranglers should come in handy, so.
Alrighty.
Well, yeah, the Cage Breakers and the Giant are just going to have to, they start killing John Green's defense 6.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. Make John regret taking nothing but defense 6, though unfortunately I feel like that may not be the case. But shifting over to table 22, we've got William Blue Frick versus Hank Gouge. Let's have Adam, if you'd like to read Bill Bluefrick, and Billy, if you'd like to read Hank. I almost feel like I should have done that the other way, but
it's all good. So Blue here, he's got a couple of hunter troops. Normally see those in regiments, so interesting. But he also took Tundra Fighter on them. A regiment of tribesmen with Tundra Fighter, 2 hordes of Ice Elementals, horde of Frostfang Cav with Tundra Fighter, a horde of Frost Claw Riders with the Ice Bombs, an Ice Queen with Icy Breath and Surge, a Lord that is using the Horn of Winter. I'll be honest, I don't even know what that is. Let me look at that.
Wild charge for infantry and heavy infantry.
All right, so +1 wild charge, Aura. With Snow Fox and the Staying Stone. And then we got 2 Frostclaw Champs and the Formation, Half-Elf Berserker troops and the Regiment of Claw Riders with Ice Bombs. Brings them out to 14 drops, 23 unit strength.
All right, and Hank is playing Varinger. Got 3 regiments of Draugr, 2 hordes of Snow Trolls, one with Chalice of Wrath, the other with Dwarven Ale. 2 regiments of Mounted Sons, both with the Brutal upgrade. One was got Jesse Boots. Got a regiment of Thunderwolves. A Magus with Lightning Bolt and Drain Life. 2 Lords on Frostfang, one with Blade of Slashing. And the other one's got the Snowfox upgrade. Krufner and a Lord on Chimera with Hex and Icy Breath. 13 units and 26 unit strength.
I think this is just the same list he's run for a minute. I was like, I don't think we touched any of this. But in any case, the survey says, which do the good guys of the North win or do the bad guys of the North win? And the answer is the bad guys. Hank is slated to win it. He's in it to win it with snow trolls galore. Billy, tell me why that new elf formation is so sick and is totally going to just run roughshod over all these snow trolls.
Well, they're not real elves, but I mean, it's got a lot of output compared to the defense 5. Gonna have a little bit of rough time with defense 5, but otherwise, I mean, he's got the Frostclaw champions. He's got the ice bombs. That'll be able to help put some stuff out there. And as I know from playing Varinger, every wound sticks. So if you can get some wounds out there, it doesn't go anywhere, and eventually you end up losing stuff. So spread out your damage and pick your charge as well, and it should be able to pick stuff up and have your way with it.
A solid plan. Sure to be another pretty table to watch. Alrighty. Turn over to our 23rd table. For those keeping track, there's 6 left after this. We've got Matt Wiseman versus Jeff Grajeda. Travis, if you'd like to take Matt, and Pat, if you'd like to take Jeff Grajeda.
All right, Matt's rolling some Riftforged Orcs. The Lonewolf there. He has 2 regiments and a horde of unforged orcs. He has a troop of Tundra Wolves with Blade of Slashing. He has a horde of Hellstrikers with the Boots of Striding. 2 Stormslayer monsters, a War Drum, a Stormforged Shrine, 2 Forgers. One has gaining Storm Strike, Banechant 2, and Scorched Earth 3. The other is mounted with gaining Storm Strike, Blessing of the Gods, Banechant 2, and Celestial Restoration 2. A Stormbringer on Hellstrike Mana Core, and the Formation Boots gives him 2 regiments of Legionnaires and a regiment of Reborn Legionnaires with the Velocity for 15 units and 9 unit strength.
Grajeda is bringing in ogres. He's got a horde of hunters, 2 regiments, and a horde of warriors, all of them keeping their shields with defense 5. The horde has Sir Jesse's Boot, 3 hordes of siege breakers, his Sting Stone, Dwarven Out, and Chalice of Wrath, so all the waiver mitigation items. A sergeant on a chariot with Orb of Tower Presence, a Berserker Bully, 2 warlocks both with Lightning Bolt and Drain Life, Namagrok, and Kuzlo and Madfall. Comes out to 13 drops and 26 units.
Cool. I am not sure how the survey is gonna. This is one where I imagine it would be close. No, still an edge to Jeff. Travis, explain to Matt why the reason that he's not getting his votes are because his Rift Forgers don't have Host Shadow Beast.
Yeah, and they got a lot of other stuff. I mean, they're expensive. 150 for the mounted one for Celestial Restoration, and you got Blessing the Gods on it. So okay.
Yeah, I wonder if he realized that they changed Storm Strike to where it doesn't work on spells anymore.
Yeah, that was I was honestly just gonna say too.
Oh.
It only
Yeah,
affects melee now.
Yeah, maybe with that in mind. I mean, it would only matter for literally Celestial Restoration because the other guy, he gave it Storm
Right.
Strike, but it's Bane Chant Scorch, and you just need the one success anyway.
If you're gonna be in combat, you'd rather have Shadow Beast so you get more attacks in there. But I mean, either way, these Storm Slayers are gonna have to do work with the Hell Strikers to punch some holes because otherwise the ogres have a lot of staying power against this Riftforged list. If you can get the Hell Strike, Mana Core, Hero, and a flank help some. I don't. It's gonna be rough with those 3 Siegebreaker hordes and then the Horde of Warriors has got to choose, and a Horde of Hunters even too. That's just a lot of staying power for the ogres for this style of Ruthless to have to break through. When
And the
all of his
ogres
punches,
they love seeing the speed 5 infantry list
Right.
across from them too. So
yeah, I mean that's what I mean. 2 units I keyed on are the only things that'll, outpace and maybe get a first charge on. But even that, I mean, there's past those couple of units, there's not a lot of punch. Everything else, yeah, speed 5 infantry, with Crush 1. And what a regiment of Legionnaires with Crush 2. So, I mean, it's going to be, it's kind that he's going to have to stick against edges and then be able to counter. What?
Well,
It's gonna be tough. He's gonna
yeah,
have to use his infantry well, and he's get some fun stuff in some timely spots. And if he can get the Storm Slayers to do extra work and get into a flank, I mean, they can kill a unit in a flank.
right. Clearly,
Being defense 4 is tough.
Clearly, his goal is just to roll 6s all tournament. I mean, that's how Storm Strike works, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird style on those Rift Forgers. I don't know.
All right. I'm going to bully Adam into reading his own list here because next up we have Table 24. Adam Ballard versus Tom Robinson. Probably one of the better challenges we've had in a hot minute.
all right.
Cool. Well, Adam can go second.
Okay.
All right. Tom Robinson's playing Northern Alliance. He's got 2 regiments of pack hunters, 3 hordes of ice elementals. 1 has the fire oil. 3 regiments of snow foxes. I almost called them trolls, but snow foxes. Got 2 ice queens. 1 with the amulet of Fireheart, Surge, Heal, and Bane Chant. The other one's got the Conjurer's Staff with Surge and Heal. 3 Snow Troll Primes. One of them's got the Trickster's Wand. And then the good old formation with the 2 troops of Berserkers and the regiment of Frostclaw Riders. 16 units and 23 unit strength.
Cool.
And I am taking Empire Dust. I have 2 regiments of skeleton spearmen, a troop of mummies, a regiment of mummies, a horde of skeleton warriors, 2 hordes of guardians with J-boots and pipes of terror, 2 regiments of scavs, soul snare, bone giant with slayer, monolith, rev champ, Sebek Ray, Idol of Shobik, bringing me out to 15 drops and 26 unit strength.
Cool. Well, the moment we've all been waiting for as far as the survey goes, who do we think's going to win this one? Is the internet, always wise, never wrong, super consistent. Go home, you drunk internet. Says Adam wins by 70%. They also said this last year about Adam and a certain Jesse individual. So, Adam, what does Tom need to do to beat you? And if the answer isn't roll 10 twice on a horde of enslaved guardians in the last turn, then I don't know whose memory is worse, mine or yours.
Something like that might be good, but I'd first like to thank all my fellow Americans for their vote here in the election. Clearly, we have an outstanding lead, so we're looking to bring it home on the campaign trail this weekend. And I think we got a good lead. We need a little bit more support, but I believe that we'll bring this one home for Team America.
I like
Sorry,
how
did you actually ask me a question?
I like how
like
none of that.
I'm not planning on answering.
Cool. We can skip over that one. Nice, short and sweet. You heard it here first. That's a campaign speech, and Tom isn't allowed to give a rebuttal. So, moving right along to table 25, because I need to eat. So, we have Tucker Knight versus Roger Hedgepeth. This time it is the right Roger, I believe. So if Pat would like to take Tucker Knight with his Forces of the Abyss, and if Travis would like to take Roger.
Tucker, for Forces of the Abyss, is taking 2 regiments of Abyssal Guard, both with 2-hand weapons. Regiment of Succubi with the Lurker upgrade of Hammer of Measured Force. 2 hordes of Molochs, both with spoiler champions. One of them has Sir Jesse's boots. Abyssal Horsemen, 2 regiments. 2 hordes of Tortured Souls, a Cronius, a Harbinger with mounts, and that's it. And then the Abyssal Warlock with Bloodborne. Comes up to 12 drops and 29 units.
And Roger's got Salamanders. He's got a regiment of Ancients, a regiment of Ceremonial Guard, a regiment and horde of Fire Elementals. The horde has Brew of Sharpness. 3 regiments of Tyrants, a horde of Rhinosaur Cows with Boots of Striding, a Greater Fire Elemental, a Phoenix. He's got a Mage Priest with Shroud of the Saint, Heal 5, Surge 8, Mindfog 2, Hex 2, Clan Ward with Wing of the Honey Maze, and Rakah, the Pale Rider, for 13 drops and 25 unit strength.
Alrighty. Our survey results give the edge to Mr. Tucker with his Forces of the Abyss. Or sorry, no, I had that backwards because I'm just reading it upside down. It's because the red's at the top of the circle. Roger with 65% is beating out with the Salamanders, the new and improved Salamanders. Pat, what does Tucker need to do to overcome these Salamanders?
Tucker has actually a lot of great tools. Abyssal Horsemen, I feel like, are underrated a lot. They're pretty much mounted suns, but with less nerve and regen instead, and they come built in with Fury. It's a lot to like. The Tortured Soul Hordes. Melee 4 Crush 1 isn't great. It's still enough, and with Thunderous 1 as well. He's got a lot of things that can do medium damage, and then of course the 2 Moloch hordes, which can do heavy damage. So I think he's just got to pick his battles. I don't see very much in the Salamander list that's going to stand up to 2 of those guys charging, except for maybe the Ancients. So even a Rhinosaur Cab with their defense 5-18, it's going to be hard pressed to take two of his units, and Tucker's got the speed advantage as well. So I think you just got to pick his battles correctly and make sure to do some multi-charge to move units and not get overrun by the number of regiments running around. More importantly, make sure you don't bounce off those regiments, those large infantry regiments, because they can be deceptive. Do the math and make sure you do at least, on average, 10 to 12 damage against them, and you should be able to blow through.
Sounds like a game plan. Shifting us right along over to table 26, we have Rogan Hoy versus David Sweat. We'll certainly be sweating with Rogan's Waterflood list, and the only Order of the Green Lady, I think. Maybe the second one. Adam, let's have you read off Rogan's list here, and really, if you could get Senior David.
Rogan has 2 regiments of water elementals, a horde of Cav with Sacred Water, Banner of the Green Lady, and Brew of Strength. A regiment of Redemption Knights with Meat of Madness, 2 regiments of Forsaken, a Devoted with Inspiring, Talisman, Heal, and Surge, the Green Lady, or Champion of the Green Lady, I apologize. And then he has the Formation with the Hordes of Water Elementals, the Greater Water Elemental, and another Devoted with the Thunderous Charge Aura for Waterbound, which he took Surge and Heal on that one as well. So 12 drops, 22 unit strength.
Billy, you're muted.
I figured I had to be the first one to mess that up.
Eh,
All right.
that's-
David is playing Forces of Nature. Got 3 hordes of water elementals. One of them has the Brew of Haste. 2 greater water elementals. I'm gonna mess up the name of that. The Charlotte. The Gladewalker Druid got Crown of the Wizard King mounted on a 4-steed and has a Ring of Harmony with Heal 4 and Surge 8. The Worm Rider Centurion with the Tome of Darkness. The formation that has the Horde of Air Elementals. One with the Brew of Strength, the other one with Hammer Measuring Force, and then the Greater Elemental 11 units with 19 unit strength.
You don't see too many water elementals, and you especially don't see them facing each other very often.
Yeah. No kidding. Survey says a ever so slight edge to Rogan Hoy, given that they are both running effectively just a ton of water elementals, and his list has the word. Well, actually, it doesn't. But it's the more water themed of the 2 lists, so frankly, that's where I think the votes are coming from. Adam was unable to give us any sort of information on his matchup with Tom, so Billy, I'm leaving it up to you to provide David with the secret sauce to. I don't have a good pun here with oceans.
Don't play water elementals.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. That's not true. They're not that bad.
No, they're not. All right, so who was it? David.
David.
What does David need to do?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the big bad air elementals, even though I feel like people have figured out how to play against them, but overall, being able to get the flanks and everything for against the fellow water elementals will help out a lot. Otherwise, just need to try and mitigate the speed and that he's going up against with all the cav. Trying to make sure you're only allowing one charge at a time, if at all possible. And hopefully you can get some good flanks with surges and that kind of stuff.
Sounds like a good game plan. I imagine there's going to be a lot of surging. It's rare to see. I don't think we've had any like surge matchups really before this one. There might have been one that was like a little bit, but this is like there's a lot of surge. So this would have been at least a fun one in my mind to watch. But in any case, good best of luck to both our players. Shifting on to table 27, we have Drew Richardson specifically versus Brian Ching. I don't know of another Drew. I don't know that I'd ever want to. Travis, if you want to take Drew, and Pat, if you'd like to take Brian.
All right, Drew's taking EOD. He's got the Wolf as the character. 2 regiments of skeleton spearmen, 2 regiments of mummies, a horde of skeleton warriors, a horde of enslaved guardian, 2 hordes of enslaved guardians with boots, regiments of scavengers, a regiment of desert swarm, the soul snare, a undead worm, a monolith, stoic ray, and Shobik for 15 drops and 29 unit strength.
Is taking a troop of Abyssal Berserkers, a horde of Decimators with Blessing of the Gods, 2 Gargoyle troops, Lesser Obsidian Golem horde for brute sharpness, 3 regiments of half-breeds, 1 with Jesse's Boots, 1 with Pipes of Terror, and 1 with one Elvenkind, a Hellfane, no upgrade. I feel like that's pretty rare to see. An Ironcaster with Surge, and the Susu the Vile, 2 half-breed champions. That comes out to 13 drops and 21 unit strength.
Nifty. A lot of non-scoring stuff for my taste, but our contestants have definitely shifted to give the edge to Mr. Drew, which I feel after many years of trials and tribulations, he has definitely earned. So, Pat, what does Brian need to do to overcome the absolute menace that is Drew Richardson? And I'm saying that with a serious face.
So Brian's list is very punchy. Like half-breeds for their points punch way above their weight. But it's also kind of fragile. Besides his golems and the Hellfane, everything can die pretty easily. I think the good news is like his half-breed champs and Basusu are pretty quick and they do a lot of damage. So you can get those to like take out some key pieces. If you can, eliminate the Soul Snare earlier, the Soul Snare is just going to feast on those half-breeds. Potentially hunt down Sebek Ray and get rid of those scavengers and essentially just take out the key support pieces that is in a lot of Empire Dust lists, and all of a sudden the rest of the army that isn't as scary besides Shobik. Shobik doesn't need support, he is always scary. But yeah, I think if he's got to play patient until he can take out enough support pieces for him to actually be able to jump in. Because once he jumps in, he's not getting out alive. So I think he's got to play patient dance around until he can remove enough pieces for him to actually commit.
Cool. I was gonna say get him drunk, but that works too.
Lots of hugs.
Yeah, expect to be hugged. Expect to be hugged at least 3 times.
Just get into his head early and deny his hug, the first one, and you'll automatically be in his head.
Take great offense. All right. Table 28. Devlin Smith versus Mark Bryson. As soon as I get it up and going. Adam, you're a dust player. You will be taking Devlin. And Billy, you have Mr. Mark Bryson.
First want to call out Devlin's great challenge. He just called out pretty much everybody in one challenge, except for the person he was playing against. I'm pretty sure. So, but yeah, Devlin's got Spearman Regiment with Orb of Towering Presence. He has 2 hordes of Guardians with J Boots and Pipes of Terror. He has 2 regiments of Cav, Sharpness and Haste. He has 2 Scavengers, the Soul Snare, Bone Giant with Slayer, Monolith Shobek, and he took a Pappy because Matt is not playing this year, so somebody had to take it. 12 drops, 25 unit strength.
All right. Mark is playing Forces of Nature. And he has 1 regiment and 2 hordes of Earth Elementals. One of the hordes is Blade of Slashing. 3 Hydras. Got the Avatar of the Green Lady. A Gladewalker Druid with the Rig of Harmony, Heal 4 and Surge 8. Tree Herder with the Exil Lohi. And the formation bringing in the 2 hordes of Air Elementals, one with Hammer Measuring Force, the other one with Helm of the Drunken Ram, and then the Greater Air Elemental. 12 drops and 22 unit strength.
Not quite as much defense 6 as John's list. Just gotta say.
No, but those Hydras, they're good value.
Are they good value? Community says no. Sure. Community says that
value for the defense.
that
150 points for.
Survey says that Pappy's back, bitches, and actually has value now apparently, and this is entirely the value of Apathis and not at all Devlin's capabilities as a player. So Travis, tell Mark exactly how you beat Pappy. Oh wait, did I lose track? I lost track.
Shoot him to death, but go for it, Billy.
Yeah, Billy, tell how you killed Pappy.
It's Adam's turn. It's Adam's turn.
Oh, Adam. Okay,
he's
cool.
He's an E to D.
There we go. Perfect.
Well, he screws up anyways.
I think as a community, we can rightfully say that these votes are just wrong. Pappy does not deserve to win. And when you take triple Hydra, you're playing for the win. So I don't understand how Mark doesn't win this when he's going to use Devlin's tools against him. Like Devlin may say they nerfed air elementals into the ground, but I think Mark's going to show him how it's actually done. Who needs 10 attacks when you have 8 attacks? And you'll see. He'll outsurge the Surge Master. Anybody else got anything? That's all I got.
That's it. That's everything.
Travis has a dog in the background. Maybe that has some input.
I was waiting for the fake votes claim.
No.
2 puppies even.
Alrighty.
Yeah, Devlin stuffed the ballots. That's what actually happened here.
All right. Last but not least, to end our matchup cast on, if you've been drinking, make sure to pinch your nose here, or make your way to a toilet after reading this list. I'm gonna make Travis read Jeff's list, and Pat can read Garrett's. This is
Alrighty, we
Jeff
wanna save
Shilkin,
Jeff
or
for-
Jeff Radigan. Sorry, not Shilkin. I got Shilkin in my
do
stuck
we
my
need
head
to
down.
save Jeff's flat? No one misses Garrett's.
Yeah, I'll read
I don't
Garrett's
think
first.
anybody's going to miss Garrett's list.
Yeah.
Garrett's coming with 3 regiments of Immortal Guard, all with Infernal Wardens and Throwing Massive upgrades, a horde of Decimators with Blessing of the Gods, Gargoyles, less Obsidian Golem Hordes, 2 of them, both with the Charnix upgrade, Mutated Massive Pack, 3 of the Rocket Launchers, 2 Hexcasters, both with Hex and Weakness, 1 with Inspiring Talisman, and a Supreme Ironcaster and Great Winged Half-Breed. With Diadem of the Dragon kind to bump that Fireball up to 18. Surge 8 and Heal 4. Comes out to 14 drops and 23 unit strength.
Alrighty, and he gets to go up against Jeff. Jeff and yeah, of course, they're Fleet Wardens with Blood Hex and Staying Stone, as it's Void Touched Weavers, which have Voids for Lightning Bolt 8. He has a section we're skipping for later. He has 3 Summoner Crones with Weakness 4. He has Lathia cart and all the fun that comes with. And for the best, there are 8 regiments of Corsair Void Skiffs with Deck Harpoons, because why not? For 15 drops and 24 unit strength. Yeah.
I don't like that the
He's
skips
trying the
get
chariot spam.
That's my professional opinion. They're missing Blood Hex.
Yeah,
But
for 5 points, defense 5 for the turn, well worth it.
I mean, you got 8 of them.
I think people misunderstand this list. It's not that Jeff is trying to win, it's that he's got all these models ready to go and painted already because of the Scorch Wings from last year. So,
True.
without Blood Hex, though, I actually do like Garrett's list a little bit better in this matchup. In any case,
Garrett has the
surveys.
shooting to pick up some of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Survey says a pretty hefty edge to Jeff because Twilight Kin are scary, and we all agree that Twilight Kin are scary. And certainly that many votes is intimidating. It's always intimidating to see the same profile 8 times, regardless of any list. I mean, I was intimidated by those crossbow troops for a hot second because there were 8 of them. Then I saw they were troops. But in any case, Garrett, sorry, not Garrett, Travis, what does Garrett need to do to overcome the spammiest of spam?
He needs to shoot stuff.
Yeah.
And kill it. The rocket launchers need 3 rounds just to fire away and hit a lot. But, you know, Jeff's still got to get up there and fight him. Is what Garrett's got defense 5 on most things, couple defense 6 with the hordes of obsidian golems, which, I mean,
He's got a lot of regen,
he's
a
got
lot of
regen, and
recovery.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, Garrett's staying power for a while there, so he's got his throwing mastiffs to throw back at him. I mean,
He also has a horde of decimators with the Blessing of the Gods, and that is scary.
Yeah. That will hurt things. That is for sure.
yeah, and Garrett's a good player. I mean, these are 2 good players against each other, so this should be a really, honestly. I mean, the Hexcasters, the weakness does damage back, you know, just like Jeff's does damage. So it's just, yeah.
Yep.
There's potential for sure. I mean,
it will certainly be interesting. Needless to say, we are done with matchups. Fun stuff. So let's do fun stuff. So shifting down to just some remaining survey results to quickly discuss, and then just to highlight the matchups that will most likely appear on stream when we stream Lone Wolf here in, holy crap, like 4 days, 5 days? Soon. So first up, we have who do we think has the best chance to win Best General? And we have some high vote contestants. We've got Jeff Radigan with that list we just saw. We have Adam Ballard with hoping to maintain America's integrity. We've got Tom Robertson hoping to destroy America's integrity and burn down the White House. We've got Dustin Howard, who exists and it doesn't have as exciting of a WWE walkout to put him out to, other than literally being a WWE superstar. So, you know, what can I do there? But all those I feel are pretty good picks. If I were a gambling man, I certainly would bet on all 5 of those and their lists to have a good shot of taking it. Honorable mentions to Jesse Garrett and Jason Burr. So with more than one vote in the remaining chunks. And I see Travis shaking his head because Jason doesn't deserve it. We have most interesting list, which I suspect might have some of the same stuff, but we had Rick Hoy with Goblins coming in first, which I do think is appropriate because that list is definitely very different. I don't think any other Goblin player runs that many Mob Beasts, let alone that style of Mob Beast list. Then we've got John Green's Defense 6 Literal Wall, because it's rocks, and rocks are what walls are made of. That was a joke. Then we've got Jeff Radigan's Twilight Kin, which some people call interesting, and I call a good palate cleanser. And then we've got a bunch of honorable mentions. Hank Googe's Varinger, Garrett Mercier's Abyssal Dwarves, Ryan Smith's Riftforge, Tom Robinson's, and Aaron Chapman's lists, respectively. Following that up, we've got our first table pick. I always like to see the first and second table because it's one of those. It's kind of like ranked choice voting, right? Where like if your first one doesn't make it, like, you know, who would you also like to see? Because we all want to see the big thing, but then, you know, maybe there's a second one that sneaks in that we didn't think about. I don't think this is going to be a surprise, which between what I imagine is our overseas viewership wanting to tune in, as well as our, you know, here sees, with a lot of people wanting to watch the basically Brits versus the American matchup at a whopping 35%, with honorable mentions to Paul Welsh and Ryan Smith, the other matchup, which makes perfect sense to me as the other Brits versus America matchup. And then a small one for the Garrett versus Jeff, which I suspect is people wanting to see what Spam do, because they've never had it happen to them, so they have to watch it happen to someone else. And then, surprisingly, a Chris Davis versus Jose Vega. I don't know that people be people. But I feel that's the first pick thing. And then we had Greg versus Jeff Shilkin as our other honorable mention for Table 1. Going on to the second most picked, which I do think really showcases some of the different thinking. Some of it's the same. Some of it's a little different. In first place, as the second most picked, was Adam Ballard, which is, I suspect this is all the people who voted for Ryan and Paul in the first best pick, voted for Adam in the second most wanted pick, and likewise, Paul Welsh and Ryan, I suspect, are a bunch of people from Adam in the first pick picking Paul and Ryan as their second pick. So people really want to see the Brits on tables. We will probably get the Brits on tables. Also because I realize they've got people at home who want to see them, so that will probably be what we do this time. I'm not going to fight the most picks like I sometimes do.
So all I'm hearing, Matt, is that Tom and I have to play both on table 1 and table 2 at the same time.
Yes.
So should I bring an extra
so do
army,
Ryan-
or are we just gonna spread out?
Well, so do
across the,
Ryan
you know,
and Paul,
12
so you have to share the tables.
It's a team event now.
Yeah, it's just a team event. It's just a
Alright.
it's just a you know, a 12-foot, you know, table
Just-
by 4 foot.
Yeah.
So clearly
Trav,
that's how
bring
this
the
works.
goblins back up.
But yeah, those will probably be who we will stream that day. I say probably as if I'm gonna have any say in it. It will almost certainly be the Brits. But we will have those 2 tables set up and hopefully good to go Saturday. And barring me being unconscious, which I've been doing some testing on how long I can go without the painkillers and how smooth the stream runs. If there was any indication, the beginning of the stream started off a lot more all over the place than the end of it as things started wearing off. So expect some great commentary at the start when it's really important, and to only get better as the day goes on. Alrighty. Any other comments from anyone
We'll make
here?
sure.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you have all sorts of painkillers at Lonewolf, Matt. I hear if you mix and match them, it's better for you.
In any case, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a great matchup cast. It will be nice to see everyone at Lonewolf. I will post on Fanatics here shortly a link to the live stream YouTube so that people can find it and bookmark it and have it ready to go for Friday. And then I am just super excited to see everyone there when we get there, because, man, it's gonna be good. It'll be nice to see people at Lonewolf. But yeah. Alrighty. Everyone have a fantastic rest of their day. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream.
Thanks, Matt. Bye.
Bye,
See ya.
everybody.